Guys, thank you. Welcome back to the Real Life Fishing Podcast. It's been a while, I know, since our last episode. I've been busy on the water. Okay, guys, I've been busy with on the water and editing, and we're about to get the podcast lined back up. I right now have two guests that are special to me, two young guys, as you see, and this is our 20th episode, or 21st, I kind of forgot, and I've done one episode with two anglers, and then I got two right here that I'm more familiar with. We got Halton Howard Garrett Westfall. Thank y'all guys for being on today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so we got two. Real quick, what grade y'all in?
We're going into ninth.
Going into ninth grade. These guys are going into ninth grade. Now, real quick, and I'm gonna get into the sponsors part of the show and stuff. But Halton, how old were you the first time we went fishing together?
What year did you come to Nashville?
2018 is when I came to Nashville.
So I would have been 10.
10.
Probably.
That's what I was going to say. He was 9 or 10 years old when I met his dad coming here to Nashville and then getting to fish with him. And, guys, we're going to talk about a lot of the stories and stuff of these two guys. But today what we're doing, guys, is we're having a big – you see these trophies behind us? Okay, you see them right here. They were Ark-LA-TX Bassmaster Team of the Year for the junior division. And what about this other trophy? Talk about that real quick. Halton, you go ahead. I know y'all both want to talk.
Yeah.
Halton, you go first.
So that is our state tournament trophy. This was at Ouachita, June 1st and 2nd, and we were able to fish it. And we were like, well, we had to go get this trophy anyways. And we were like, Dad was like, I don't know if I want to fish that. And I'm like, well, we got to go up there anyways. Might as well fish it. So I mean, we just went up there, really kind of winged it a little bit, and worked out pretty good.
Garrett, we're your side of that real quick about the winging it. What about the winging it? What about the tournament?
So, I don't know, he pretty much covered everything that I know of. We wasn't going to fish this tournament. We didn't practice a lot, nearly none. It's a Saturday and Sunday tournament, so that really got to us because we don't like to fish on Sundays. And we ended up pulling through with it and fishing it, but we had a little church service in the morning and left out that day. What was our weight? 9?
We had 9:30 one day and 9:09 or something the second day. So
coming out with about 20 pounds.
Yeah, we had a good. You had to be consistent at the tournament.
Yeah.
The team who was leading after the first day had 17 pounds
in one day.
In the first day, and we were like, well gosh, there it goes. And
the next day they didn't even pull up with a fish to weigh in.
Yeah.
So it's just about getting your 5-fish sack, and that's awesome. Just the name of the game.
Awesome. So this tournament, guys, they didn't even say the tournament. This was the Bassmaster State Championship. Okay, they got second place in, but like they mentioned, they weren't even planning on fishing it. They already fished one Sunday this year for the Ark-LA-TX Championship, and as they mentioned, they like to be on church on Sundays. They don't really like to fish in the morning. Halton's dad, Michael, is a preacher at a church down here in town. So how did y'all do the church service?
So
how did y'all do the service on Sunday? Explain how that went.
So we got to thinking about it. We're like, well, the closest church is like an hour away from Brady Mountain Boat Ramp, for the best we could tell. Church of Christ, that's where we're going to go. And Dad was like, we started counting up. He's like, we'd have enough to just do a little church service on our own. So we brought our communion, and my dad gave a little devotional, and we took communion and went fishing.
Did y'all sing?
We did not.
Time out. Whoa.
Dad did not want to go through singing.
No.
I don't know.
Okay. So, because I say this, guys. So, I've been to a Baptist church. I've been in all the churches. But like these guys, I've been to a few Church of Christ events with these guys here, and I will tell you, I'm impressed with the singing. Like, even our church here in Nashville, we started trying to follow the Baptist church that I was a part of here, guys. We even started following how y'all sang. Like, we did the acapella, which we were not that good at singing to y'all, but then, we went to the piano. But that's pretty cool, so I just had to ask that there. So the second place, though, got y'all to the Nationals. Y'all qualified for the National Championship, Lake Chickamauga, and that's what we're here today for, guys. We have here in about 2 hours a big cook-off, a big barbecue where we're fundraising to get these kids there so their dads or these kids do not have to spend any money. It's going to have a big event. Nashville here, which they're a part of the Nashville Scrapper Fishing Team. these two kids are part of a good community, and I know y'all see it all right here. And I know that the guys right now, by the way, we're about to go to one of our first sponsors. They know the fishing team. We're right now in the Futural showroom. It's hot right now, so we're going to try to, I want to get this going. It's hot right now. We're in a 2024 521R Ranger with a 300. How about this big old boat? Why don't we take? Y'all can't take a. Can we have a 300 in the tournament?
We cannot. 250 is all you can have.
This is a big boat, though. Yeah, in the tournaments.
I almost would want a 300 with the waves that get out on that place.
Yeah,
and stuff.
So the national championships at Lake Chickamauga. Have you guys ever been there?
We have not.
I've never been either.
We've done our best work to go in and break down the lake, and we got about 500 spots found. Are they gonna have fish? Who knows?
Yeah. Now 500. How many days of practice is it? 3
we got 3 days of practice.
3 days of practice. So y'all divide that 500 up by 3, okay? And y'all can only be in one boat. Your boat captain's boat, which is going to be your dad. So your dad can't go out and help. I can't, because that was one thing I know. Before y'all qualified, they were already, we were thinking another team from Nashville was going to qualify. They were telling me how, if I was the boat captain, they could only be with me. Or if, like y'all, I can't bring my boat. They already made that clear to me. So 500 spots divided by 3, y'all figure it out.
Yeah. That's 12 hours a day probably every day pre-fishing.
Yeah, 12 hours.
Long days of fishing.
Now, during that 12 hours, y'all are not fishing and casting the whole time.
No, we're just looking a lot, and we're not trying to catch big fish before the tournament day.
You don't want to be practice heroes.
No.
Have y'all been practice heroes this year?
This kid sets the hook on everything.
I like to catch fish.
So guys, they talked about Washita.
Practice days.
So they talked about Washita. You didn't get to practice at Washita, did you?
Mm-mm.
You got to go out.
Yeah, I did. I got to go one time with Mello.
One time, okay. So
they went that Friday. We went a couple times before.
Yeah, but you didn't go the day before, right? No. Yeah. So you went the weekend before. So y'all did have one good day in practice. I say good day. Y'all had 10 pounds, which guys at Washita right now.
Which
y'all know, if y'all are locals, y'all know it's tough to go out. I thought 10 pounds a day would have a chance to win.
Yeah,
and
12 ended up a day one the junior side.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
That day that we had 10, there was a grown man tournament going on, and we would have won the sucker.
Yeah, my buddy, BJ was the one that ended up winning it.
Yeah,
that was right. Like BJ, who's the last guy on the podcast, guys.
Yeah,
BJ won that adult tournament they're talking about. They had a bigger bag than they did that day. So, but they it was like 11 pounds.
Yeah,
still,
we had 11 something.
But still, so practicing for Chickamauga, man. Now, one thing about Chick though, man, it has big fish in it.
It does.
I mean, it has double digits. It has 8 pounders. How hard is it going to be not to catch one in practice?
I mean, it's just going to be happening upon one. I mean, if you happen upon one.
He's swinging at everything. I'm just going to let him swim off.
Yeah, you won't set the hook?
No, I won't set the hook.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Never mind.
Yeah. Take the hooks off the bait.
Yep, I need to keep that.
Take the hooks off the bait or something.
Take the hooks off the bait. Okay, Garrett. All right, Garrett. So, 9th grade. How old are you for 9th grader?
I am going to be 15.
15, okay. So, when your first time, and I know, 'cause I have a 2-year-old right now. The dude loves for a 2-year-old, fish, boat, bass. He wants to be in the boat. He might not remember those days, but what was a vital point you remember fishing with your dad, let's say? What's a good memory, your first one as a young kid? I put you on the spot.
So, actually, I got burnt out at a really young age of fishing.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
That's what real life. Let's get into the juice. Yes, thank you.
And from about 4 years old to maybe 11, I just hated fishing so much. And it's because as a 5-6-year-old, Dad would take me out crappie fishing, boringest fishing you can do, for 10 to 12 hours. It felt like. I'm sorry, crappie fishermen. I'm sorry. That's all Dad is. But he'd take me out. He'd just leave me in the live well with the fish, sitting with my neck above the water, trying to cool off. I hated fishing. And so,
really quick, guys, I want to give this time for one of my partners and sponsors of the podcast, and Jimmy Easterling Fishing, and the fishing coach is Generation 3 Tire and Auto. Okay, guys, for me, if there's something that I'm not sure about and someone that's more of a professional in this, I like to go with people I trust. My man down there at Gen 3 Tire and Auto has been in the tire and car business since he could walk. His dad and grandpa both were mechanics, both had shops, and now my man Brady Butler down there on Military Road in Benton, Arkansas, has his own store as well. Brady, one thing about Brady that I will tell y'all guys about Brady, and he probably won't even saying his name out there, but it is what it is. Brady, if you have any question about tires or something about your car you don't know, he's going to shoot you straight. He is not going to try to go around the bush. He's going to try to give you the honest opinion and his honest opinion from his experience and expertise. For me, I'm not a mechanic. I fish, I taught math, so I know math, and there's some other things I know I'm good at, but the cars is not me. So I go with someone I trust like him, and you might have a mechanic you trust or know somebody, but if you're looking for a new set of tires, go down there for a good cost, and if there's, you can ask Brady, and he will give you his honest opinion on tires. Okay, that's one thing with me. He's helped me on tires, said, hey, you can do this, this, or this. He's not going to try to sell you the top-end deal. He's going to give you an honest opinion, and he's going to give you a product that works, and he knows it works. So if you're looking for some tires, go down there to Gen 3 Tire and Auto. Appreciate you for being a part of the Fishing Coach and Real Life Fishing Podcast.
I was about 10 or 11 when he finally convinced me to go out to Grandview. I can't remember. It was like a 7.5 first cast off the boat ramp. I caught like a 7-something, and ever since then it's just sparked up something in bass fishing. Awesome. I really got into it.
You were hooked right then. So guys, a 7-pounder at a public lake is a big fish in Arkansas, and you got to catch one early, so you were hooked right then.
Yeah,
hooked. So that's one thing is interesting. Thanks for sharing how you're burned out. Like one thing I think is interesting is, like, I got told, and I always get told with young kids, you want them to catch, them to catch. But you were already bored with crappie fishing.
Yeah,
no, you just didn't want to. You didn't want to sit and catch those. I like it. Halton, what's a memory? One of your first memories fishing with your dad or fishing in general?
So probably my first memory that I still remember to this day would be that when I go fishing with my dad and his partner, whose name was Hank Williams. He was great dude could fish really well as along with that. My dad would get a rod, if we were throwing big crankbaits, he'd get a crankbait, throw it, give me the rod. When I get the crankbait back in, I'd give him this one, and he'd give me the rod he had for me to reel in the rest of the way and just go to catch it.
Yeah,
most of the time. And then with Hank, back when this was all going on, the lakes around here had big hybrids in them. I mean, like 12-pound hybrids.
I got told about how the Queen had them, and then we know the white bass are in Millwood, but I never even caught a hybrid at the Queen, and I hear about how y'all caught big hybrids.
Yeah, they're about gone at the Queen, but Hank, he would, if he was throwing it really didn't matter. If he got a big hybrid on, he'd run me back there, and he'd get me to he'd hand me the rod. And he'd just grab a hold of my life jacket and hold me so I didn't get pulled in. I vividly remember that multiple times. And it's just like, it's not going to matter at the end of the day. But I'm really glad I had that happen when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I remember the first time I fished with you and your dad at the Queen, actually. And I put that photo of, because you caught your personal best largemouth at that point.
We've done that 3 times.
We've been a part of some personal best somehow together, but like that I was blown away. Like, I was thinking about it because I already had some crankbaits on. I caught a big fish that day on a mag draft, big old mag draft, swimming it off that spot. But anyway, not to talk about the spot, but yeah. So but I just remember your dad, like, and I was over here like, and we've already fished together before. We'll talk about that in a minute. We already had the Millwood trip, and I was like, and that day we just did soft plastics, but like, I was thinking, how's this kid gonna cast a crankbait? What are we gonna do? And then I watched your dad stand, guys. I'm telling you, like, I'm standing up now. He had you right here, and he had it to where, like, so if he cast, he's not hitting you. Hands you the rod, he'd see you reeling, he'd throw, start reeling, and y'all had a little unison.
We had it going right, about like when you're covering water down banks.
I've never seen that before, and I was like, wow, I can't wait to do this with my kid, and then it was smart, and then, you hooked up on the big one. The funniest part, I still got the video. The funniest part was your dad going down to get it, and he's like, oh no, it got off.
I remember that.
Yeah, he's like, it got off, and you're like, no, it didn't. And I'm over here like, He's got it in his hand.
I couldn't see it.
And you were over here, you know.
I didn't remember that was with you. I remember that as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was with Alex that
Oh
day.
no, yeah, he was. But so I got the video still on my phone. Maybe I can get on the podcast somehow.
Yeah.
But maybe
You're
I'll figure that
gonna
out.
have
But
to
like that showed your dad's jokester side. Your dad has this joking side to
Yes.
him. But you were in panic mode. 'Cause, I mean,
When we were at Washita back, not the championship, we had we fished with the Arkansas Bassers, and I caught it 8:49.
Yeah.
And when
his
we
personal best now.
That was
when
the
we
worst
netted
day
it,
of fishing.
he said, "That's like a 3-pounder there," and I'm like, "No, it isn't. That is not a 3-pounder."
In the heat of a moment, right?
Yeah,
there.
I was like, "No, it ain't. I just streamed. It's a big.
It's
That's not a 3-pounder."
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome, man. Awesome. So good deal. So Washita's been good y'all this year. You said Bassers. Y'all got second there. Was that both y'all's first time there, or you fished it before?
That was my first time there.
I think I've been there a couple times before that, but then that's like I got hooked on it. I kind of like it. I like it, but it's like
I'd been there multiple times before, just never fishing.
Just never
It's
fishing.
always been fun.
Hang out.
Yeah.
that was a long day. The Arkansas Bassers was
Dude,
a
it
long
was
day.
terrible.
Tell people. So y'all got second. Y'all
We
can
got second.
tell them the weight, and then tell them how many how many fish y'all caught that
17.
day.
We had 17 something.
60
yeah,
something. 1760, I'm pretty
How many fish
sure.
y'all caught that day?
5.
Five fish.
5 keeper bass.
5 keeper bass. Now with that, and I'm just kind of so people, and I've told people this. How many keepers did y'all catch in the last 20 minutes?
3.
And
Oh, it was 3. I
Three.
thought it was
wait,
2.
No.
Yeah, no, it was 2. It was 2. Yeah.
Y'all
It was two.
caught 3 fish.
Because
but
we
one
had
wasn't a
3.
keeper.
We had 2. We got 2. Well, he got 2 early morning bites, and then
Top water.
yeah, I don't remember. But he got 2
No,
early morning bites,
you're right.
and it was just a long day.
Then y'all caught the 8.
And
Caught.
in between there, I kicked a rod out.
Yep.
Like a $300 setup out.
Brand new rod, by the way.
Yeah,
guys.
brand new rod.
Not caught a fish yet.
And
And it was
$20
and a $20 spoon on it.
Had old Dixie on it.
And so I was shocked. I was just like, I sat down in the back and just cried, truthfully.
Yeah,
It was a bad day.
I kept fishing hard.
And then about that time, Dad was like, "Son, you gotta get back up." And we fished a little bit more. We ran to the next spot, like 3rd cast out there, 8:49, and I was back in it. Didn't catch another fish till 3.
Yep.
And it was
Yeah.
like, it was one of those.
We
like,
had weigh in at 3:30.
yeah, it was one of those. Why did we come and do this?
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Out of all things we could have done on this weekend, we came here and caught 3 fish.
I got seasick at the end of the day. Those waves were rolling.
But then y'all fished hard that last 30
did.
minutes.
At 3, we had 3 fish in the box.
Y'all had a 3:15 check-in.
Yeah, and had 3:15 check-in. We could see the boat ramp from where we were at.
Had about 11 pounds.
And I throw up there, catch a 4.5, get my bait fish and all, throw it back out there, catch a 2.5, put them in the box and run to the boat
And
ramp.
run to the ramp. Y'all were so fired up when
Yep.
I was there. So guys, I was on the water that day on a offshore forward-facing trip, and this just goes to show you how the lake is so different. So that day y'all got second. This tournament was everybody together, not
Yeah.
a junior, senior. 60 boats all together, 19 pounds won, which is big for a high school tournament. Then they had 17 in Big Bass. It dropped off after that, like to 14, 13, 12. But y'all caught 5 that day, and me and my boat, we had like over 30.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Like,
Yeah.
and then guys, like it goes to show.
We were.
Yeah, because there were some people that like accused me of like telling them like we never talked throughout the event like you were.
Except when we caught the 8 and you were like, "Hey, don't let it go till I'm there. I gotta get a fin clip of it."
Yeah, yes,
And that was it.
Yeah, so
That's all we said.
And I'm over here like I get back to the ramp and my other Nashville team only had 3, and I'm like, man, we caught over 30 fish today. Like we whacked them. Now we didn't catch no 8-pounder.
Yeah.
I mean, but,
Yeah.
but we whacked them that day.
No,
And,
it was slow.
And that
slow.
day, it was all just fishing history. And my dad, he hadn't been there in
Y'all didn't even practice.
4 years.
No,
probably.
we didn't practice at all.
It'd been like 4 years since we were there, and he was like, "Well, we're just gonna go fish history."
Yep.
And his history worked, just only for 5 fish. But you know,
5 fish. Yeah.
But
But
sometimes it's a timing deal too.
Yeah.
Because there's some areas,
Yes.
some areas y'all might have went to after we talked about the tournament, guys. This is the cool juice part about fishing of the podcast. So, y'all started in an area where I think I came in like at 11 o'clock.
And
Yeah,
killed
you
them.
did.
No
Yeah.
boats were in there. Like, it was just us. And
So,
we
yeah.
went to whacking them. And then y'all were like, well, we started there, and we're talking at the ramp and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I got in there like at 11:05.
And
Wasn't
you
a boat
killed
in
'em.
sight.
Yeah,
we
we-
cracked them. You know?
We got there and there was a boat in there, and they had an adult tournament going on that day.
A lot of
Yeah.
And where we were trying to fish up here, and the boat was sitting right on it. They
Right
weren't
on
fishing
top
the
of
right
it.
spot.
They weren't fishing it right. Yeah.
They were sitting on the fish.
They were
and it was
pretty
one of
much
those-
bank fishing from, it was
And it was just one of those. It was like, well, great, this spot's ruined. And we went back there, caught 2, had to get out of there, and it was like a 30-minute boat ride up there from Brady
it
Mountain.
is. That's a big lake.
It's a long
It's
day.
a big lake. So, all right, cool. Good deal talking about that. Now, y'all two, future-wise, Garrett, you kind of already shared with me you want to do the college fishing, right?
Yes.
What's your goals? Like, do you know what you want to be when you grow up?
No, I really don't.
That's all. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just I'll figure that out when the time
that's
comes.
good. That's good. So, but you do want to go to college and fish, or
I do.
right now you do. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know? Do you have any idea what degree you might want to do?
Ugh.
That's okay. You have time.
Bachelor's.
That's okay. You
I
have
don't-
time.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm
Do
just
you
gonna
like-
fish hard right now.
So, do you like school?
Not really.
Okay, so you got to figure out how to
Yeah.
like school though if you're going to go to college. I will say you got to figure that out. You got to figure out how to
Yeah.
like school. What's your favorite subject?
Subject, history.
History. Cool.
Love
History.
social studies, history.
Yeah. History
So-
never changes.
Yeah.
I say history. It's like once it's done, it's set.
It's set. Yeah,
Pretty neat. So do you like U.S. history, world history?
yeah. Just world, U.S., anything,
Holland,
anything.
Holland, what's your favorite subject?
I'd say probably. I don't know why. I just like numbers, so math.
Math. There we go.
I just like.
Math.
I like dealing
I like
with
math
numbers.
too.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
Good. I like math. But one thing about numbers, is like the simple thing. I know we try to teach you in school because I was a math teacher, everybody. But we try to teach you in school slope, intercept form, Pythagorean theorem.
That's the stuff
all
I
this
don't
stuff. But one thing about numbers is if you have $100, you can't spend 105. Or if you make
Yeah.
if you make 60,000 a year, you got to figure out like how can I use this 60,000 after taxes.
Yep.
And then so that's one thing about numbers I always try to do at the school. So Holden, you know what you want to do when you grow up?
I'm kind of looking into like being a coach of some type.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I just enjoy sports and I want to stay in it.
I was that way too, and somehow, I'm
You
not
don't like
just,
the kids?
yeah.
Well,
You don't like
fair
the kids?
point. Fair point. Yeah, I do.
So, college-wise, are you interested in the fishing right now?
I am.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, if I can go to college to fish and get part of it paid off, that would be a big help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd love to go to college on a fishing
Y'all have colleges
scholarship.
right now? Like, I know we've talked about some out of state, but like, would y'all rather stay in state, out of state, or y'all really starting to look?
I don't really care.
I mean, I don't want to go a ways, but if that's my only option, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
One cool thing I'll say, because like Nashville, this is just me. Remember, I'm part of the community after living here for 6 years, and I think it's like another home to me. But some people say I'm an outsider because I wasn't born and raised here. Okay, it's just I get it. This is part of this town. But one thing I know here people have is sometimes it is hard to leave because of family, the close knit this community has. But I will say it's good. It would be good, like if y'all had that opportunity, you wanted to do it, to go and see. And like one thing is
Yeah.
fishing. Like if you had a chance to go fish the Tennessee River places.
Yes.
That'd
For
be
4
fun.
years
Yeah,
while you're
that
in
would be
school,
great.
it's a great experience.
My dad has a buddy up there that's there right now, and he's caught a 3.5 and a 5 pound smallie up there
Yeah,
on the
so
Tennessee
like-
River.
Yeah, so like if y'all had a chance to go to a school to where you're an hour from Gunnersville, an hour from all these lakes, it's something. But I know it is hard to be that far from Mama and Dad. Like that's hard.
Jeff ain't. His mom and sister are gone right now.
Jeff, they're
Jeff
in Europe
doesn't
for
like
2
it.
weeks. They're in Europe
Jeff
for
does
2
not
months.
like it.
They've already been there a week.
It's hard, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely because that's Jeff's little girl that's gone, and his wife. But that's his little baby that's not at the house.
And
so,
she's fixing to leave for Fayetteville in
yeah,
August.
she's gonna be
So
3
she'll-
hours away. Oh,
4.
3 hours. 4 is it 4? Yeah.
It's 4. It's
long
about a
ride to
4.
Fayetteville.
So, but it's all right to be close. Like, what I did with school, I went to Henderson State, which was 45 minutes from 50 minutes hour from Bryant, and
Yeah.
I had my opportunity to get school paid there. One reason why I went, like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know much about the school,
That's
Yeah.
but I had it paid for, and I liked being an hour from home. Now I didn't know how 3 hours would be,
yeah.
but that time stuff's changed. Like,
Yeah.
I had no way to go to Fayetteville and get it paid for.
Yeah.
But one thing about Arkadelphia, I'll say, what's in Arkadelphia?
Oh, the gray.
The gray.
Yeah.
That was another thing.
Had to think about that
So
one.
I loved fishing the gray
Yeah.
growing up, and it was in that decline when I was there. But I was like, hey, I'm an hour from home. I'm 20 minutes from the gray. Cha-ching. So
Yeah.
I had a lake.
I kind of see, I guess from here and kind of, you had a dude catch a 12 at the gray with you, didn't you?
Yep.
It's kind of heading back up a little bit, ain't it?
It did, and then it kind of
Now it's
fell
like
back
spring.
off.
Right. Can get 'em.
So the spring,
Yeah.
I was bad at the gray for the spring. So
Yeah.
like the gray has some big fish in it. Like
It
the
does.
night tournaments right now.
Yeah.
There's been some 8 and 9s caught in the night
Yeah.
tournaments. Like there's been one guy I know, Devin Garner was on our podcast. Devin won a few, but he's been catching like quality bags. Like he had
Yeah.
18 pounds of just 5 good ones.
Really?
But there was one night he got second where the dude had 19 but had a 9. He's not caught the giants lately. Devin's
Yeah.
caught 4 and 4 pounders, but he's told me of like the 8s,
Yeah.
the 7s. But the gray had a couple years of bad spawn, so that's what's kind of hurt the grays. Had a couple years of bad spawns, but there are some
young.
giants in it. There
Yeah.
are some giants in it. So hey, let's kind of go back to stories. Garrett, do you have a good story with you and your dad from a recent trip or something that top of your head?
Come back to me. I'll think
Think
on
about that.
it.
Halton, what's the story? Do we want to talk about Millwood?
Recent, our trip at Millwood?
Yeah, want to talk about Millwood?
Oh, gosh, that was a long day.
That was a long day.
I
cracked him the day before, and then we
Yeah,
went out there. The
we went
weather
out there,
changed, and
weather changed. We did a horseshoe.
Horseshoes where you lost the bid.
Yeah, horseshoes where I lost the bid. And I threw I think it was a shaky head. I threw up by a tree.
Yeah, it was shaky head.
And set the hook, and that fish just it owned me. It went back behind the tree and snapped me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a big fish.
That's the only thing I remember from that day, really.
Yeah,
And I remember getting a jackhammer hung up, and it was like below a log, under a log or something somehow, and we couldn't get it back. Those were the 2 things I remember.
yeah, we caught some fish that day, just nothing
Yeah.
big. And the day before, I hammered them, but the weather came in the day before.
Yeah.
Something with the current. I wasn't as known on the current part of that lake as I am now.
Yeah.
But looking back, something had changed with the current, and I didn't make a good adjustment that day with you.
Yeah.
But we still caught some fish. But I do remember you, like we went on these trees in Horseshoe, and I was like, hey, I've caught bigs here.
Yeah.
And then you go up there. I caught one. It was like maybe 2.5. It was a long, skinny fish. Then you set the hook on one, and all I saw was your rod, and I was just like mega. And then and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it hung me up, and then it kind of went and snapped, and I was like,
Yeah.
man. So
I don't think I've fished those trees since the day we were there. I really don't.
they had a couple years that were good, but I quit fishing.
Yeah, I don't even remember where they were at, truthfully, because this was
He was so young.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so young, and I just like to keep everything secret, like your dad does with me.
He gives you stuff.
I caught him
He
over
gives you
here.
stuff.
No, I caught him over here, and he'll circle like the whole creek. Oh, cool, man.
It's over there.
My
It's
lure's
over
in the
there.
water, you know.
Yeah.
I caught him on a creature bait today. What color? I don't even remember, man. I just picked it up in the bottom of the boat.
He probably did.
He did, you
He
know?
does the weirdest stuff.
He does.
When we were
He does.
pre-fishing for this
Yeah.
one at Millwood, out of nowhere he's just like, "Let me just grab a punching rig." Flipped it up there, 3-pounder. Flipped it up there, 3-pounder. I'm like, why don't you think to throw a
There's
punching
something
rig?
good about fishermen. There's something to say if you say about guys about good fishermen and like instincts.
Yeah.
He has it.
He was just like, "Yep, nah, why not punching rig?"
Yeah. Garrett, do you have a story yet?
No, I really don't. About me and Dad?
Yeah, or something like like a
Just a
fork
story.
event. You're going to Lake Fork or fishing or something from this past season. If there's something from this past season, you keep thinking.
Yeah.
All right, Harden. What's another
I'm just
another
listening
story?
to y'all.
What do you want? Give me a year.
What's
Give me your time.
What's just a
Patman.
I'm not talking about Pat.
I'm talking about Pat.
I refuse.
Patman.
Has anybody?
I'll tell a story about our Washita tournament.
Okay.
Not the state championship, but our B.A.S.ers won. So we got
got a
second.
couple.
Dad's like, I'll get y'all a little prize because we'd been fishing. I mean, we went down
thought
to
about
where were
something.
we going down to at that point?
Huh?
It might have been White Oak that we were coming back and we were stopping at Darriette or whatever.
No, it was Cypress.
Mount, yeah,
Mount Ida
going to
area.
Cypress. We were
Yeah.
coming back and stopping at Mount Ida.
We were,
No.
no. We were stopping at,
You're all over the map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Burgess. We were stopping at
Burgess.
Burgess, and they have strawberry
coming from
milkshakes.
Cypress.
On the way back from Cypress.
And Lafayette.
Okay, so
Lafayette
now you're
or
talking
whatever.
from Cypress.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cypress.
Cypress. Go back to Cypress. Go back to Cypress.
We've been pre-fishing for Cypress. Cypress Bayou down in Louisiana.
Every single
And
time
we
we
were coming
came back through.
we'd stop at Burgess.
Which
and
is great.
Get a
which is great.
burger.
You get a burger and a strawberry milkshake.
Fries.
And Dad's like, well, I saw this Darriette in Mount Ida, so we got second. He's like, I'll get y'all a little prize. So we stopped.
No, that's right. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, you get where
Yeah, we're going all over the map.
The Cypress tournament was before Washita. I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
Because the Darriette's great. Because I remember
great,
telling your dad even, hey, y'all need to stop by the Darriet.
Yeah.
That's
So
our
he was
only
like-
option besides Glenwood.
Yeah, he was like, I'll get y'all a little prize, get you a little treat. We'll stop by. And he's like, oh, they got a strawberry milkshake. We can get that. That's good at Burgess. So we got that. And we're on our way back, and Garrett's like, I don't feel so good.
Before I could get the window.
Yeah, before the window could get down, if you know what we're getting at. Yeah. And that strawberry milkshake went everywhere.
Yeah.
What can I say? I was on a rough late. I don't really get car sick. I've always rode in the back everywhere. Never really get
Did
car
y'all
sick.
call me after that?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all
What-
called me.
We pulled in at a spot.
Yeah.
We pulled in at a gas station at Norman, and there was two ladies sitting outside. We all bailed out of the truck, and it was like
Oh,
it
it's
was
terrible.
he was in the back seat behind me. Threw up. It hit the back of my head. I was actually wearing this hat. No, it's not there anymore. It hit me in the back. It was bad. It was. He threw up, and it was on the front windshield.
These guys.
I was like,
See,
how?
here's my thing though. I ride in the back everywhere. Never get car sick unless it's just your dad's driving.
Does he drive slower than yours?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Anyway.
I think what got me was just that water all day was ripping.
It was
Wind
rough.
was up. It was rough. I get seasick really bad rather than car sick.
Yeah, he's gotten seasick twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're back. My stream froze, but I went to sleep, and we're still recording. So anyway, we're back. So we were talking about what were we talking about? We're talking about Washita,
Yeah.
throwing up.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out a good fishing trip. From
Yeah.
I want Garrett
no,
to
I
share
have a
good,
ton, but
like just a good
Just
day. Yeah, I'll share a
a
good
good
day
day.
when I was 15 years old. I'm gonna share y'all a trip when
do
I
you
was
remember that?
15.
I don't
you-
remember Washita from.
Because this is what I'm trying to get. Like, so I remember when I was 15 years old, one of my like top fishing trips ever. Maybe not like, it's one of the ones. It probably has to be in the top 10. So I was new to fishing. I wasn't like you guys, growing up fishing with in a family of fishing. And so I had a buddy Trey and his dad Tom. Tom was a hammer at the time in Arkansas River, Lake Maumelle. Like I've already done offshore stuff with him. He was teaching me things, and it was just I loved it. So this was a fall fishing trip on the Arkansas River. Okay, like y'all were not even born yet.
Oh, yeah.
This was
Yeah.
2006. And it's funny because I'm not like that old, but like you know what I'm saying. I remember. So my people listening, my audience listening, Darren McFadden was going off this day at Auburn. Like this was the first DMAC going crazy Wildcat Gus Malzahn. We're listening to it in the boat. We didn't get to the river till like 11 or 12 o'clock that day for some reason. I don't know why. Like I got there, I don't know. So the first 2-3 hours was kind of slow. We caught some fish, Then the game came on. We turned it on, and all of a sudden, it got crazy. Like this day, I'll go ahead and say it. This day, between three of us in the boat, Tom caught over 60. I had 42. Trey caught 44. So between three of us, it was crazy. But I remember this for a few reasons. One, Tom had the Lucky Craft RC crankbait that was new. Okay, and he was throwing it,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't let us throw. We were throwing Norman deep little ends and baby little ends.
Yeah.
That was one thing I remembered about it. Like he had this special crankbait, and there's two other sides to it. One thing was when I found out it was a special crankbait, because I'm just here fishing, catching them, having a good time. He hooked on a gar, and I didn't, I knew what a gar was, but like I'd never seen a gar.
Yeah,
like
you
this.
didn't know they had
It was
the
giant.
massive.
Oh, massive! That thing jumped
Yeah.
out of the water. I thought it was a shark. Like it jumped out
No,
of the
they're
water,
big.
and he goes, Jimmy. And I was standing by him on the deck. He goes, Jimmy, take the rod. I'm like, no. He goes, I'm getting my crankbait back. And I'm like, huh? And I'm holding this thing's fighting, and it's jumping. It was an alligator gar, and I was so scared. I was so scared of it. I was like, ah! And he goes in the boat to get a shotgun out, and I'm like, and then it throws, and then it throws, and he gets the shotgun, and he doesn't even like load it yet. It was unloaded. He wasn't even like he clicks it yet. It jumps, throws it off. He's like, good, I got my crankbait back. He gets it back, cuts it off. Reed looks at it, pulls line out, and then he tells me about that crankbait, and I'm like. And then later on, I went and bought those crankbaits.
Yeah.
They're like $25 crankbaits.
Yeah.
And I was like, spent one whole day work to go buy 3 of them. Like it's crazy. The next part about that day, so I'm 15 years old, didn't even know what a spotted bass was. Okay, guys, we're catching spots. We caught a couple of largemouth, but we're catching spots. I just thought they were all bass.
Really?
Like I thought
just
they
a
were.
bass.
Yeah.
It's
so
a bass.
you didn't know
Bass.
Kentucky.
Cool.
And I caught it. Yeah, it's just a bass. You know, it looked cool. It had a little spot. Little deal. You know, they were all thick footballs like this. You know,
Yeah.
smaller mouth, whatever. I didn't realize that. I was just catching a bass. I caught a 5-pounder that day, 20 inches long, spotted bass.
Golly.
And we got in the boat, and biggest fish of the day. Tom's going crazy, and I'm just over here like,
It's a bass.
it's a bass.
Big fish.
I just caught a 5-pounder in a pond 2 days ago
Yeah.
with a fluke.
But it's
And he's like, we're putting that in the live well. You're keeping that. And I'm like, no, I caught a 5-pounder 2 days ago. And he's like, no, that's a spotted bass. You might not ever catch one again that size. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then he told me, I found out, he starts looking at the record. The Arkansas record was like 713. It's either 703 or 713. And because the smallmouth's in 7 also. And I was like, wow, this is like that close to the record. So we kept it, and I got the skin mount of it, and all my mounts now are like, fake replicas. Of course, it shrunk because it died, and it shrunk. I had to get that thing to my house. It was a process. But to this day, I've not caught one over 3.5.
I actually caught a 3 at Detween last Saturday.
Yeah. But that's a
yeah.
trip. When I was 15, when I was your age, I remember that trip to this day, catching that fish and just like, I'm hooked. But he said, you might not ever catch one again that big, and I haven't. Like
he was
and
right.
That was 16 years ago.
God.
So, any other stories real quick before we kind of close out? Any other?
All right, yeah,
Derek,
I got
go.
mine.
Derek's got one.
I've been trying to exclude this lake. We have a secret lake called Lake X. Coachy hasn't been on it.
I've never been there. Yep, I already
great
know.
lake.
I already know.
It's
Yeah.
a
great
private lake. It's family owned, and I haven't wanted to talk about it, but my memory just keeps going back to this one.
There we go.
So, me and Dad were having our own little tournament. We had $50 on the line or something on who could catch the most. This lake, you can't catch a 12-incher. You nearly cannot catch a 12-incher. It's 2 to 6 pounders.
That is true.
And we pulled up with a rig actually in the middle. Dad was still throwing off the bank, just killing me. I pull up, I cast out first cast. Shunk. I reel that sucker in, 7-pounder, boat flipped him. Threw back out there, and I caught a 6. And we're just throwing them in the live well for that way we can count at the end. We wasn't gonna keep any of them. We never do, except for if we do catch a 12-incher, we'll keep him. But ended up I caught like 32 fish, and he had the 15, which never happens.
Yeah.
I never beat Dad.
But that day you beat him.
But that day I beat him, and I had
Take
a
that, Jeff.
7 and 6. His biggest was like a 5 something. So I was really stoked about that.
I'm talking about.
I'd say the one story that I remember the most from this past season.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
One
There you
last
go.
story from this, I guess, unless you want to.
No, I want to this season. Yeah.
So it was Derek's this year at
Okay.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Ark-LA-TX. Yeah,
Ark-LA-TX.
Ark-LA-TX. We won it. We had like 17 something.
Cold and
17.
rainy again.
Yep. It was cold and rainy.
Great day to fish.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Not for.
It wasn't. It was worse last year.
So,
the year
so
before.
2 seasons ago, it was cold and rainy. And
It
I was the boat captain. I was the boat
cold.
captain.
he was
that
in
one.
shoes.
Yeah.
I didn't
He
have
was in
boots.
normal shoes.
I didn't have
So,
boots.
That day the Derek's tournament was
Yeah.
going on this year,
I did
guys,
go.
the weather was so bad, and I was at a wedding. I was at my brother-in-law's wedding, and I was just like, man, I'm glad I'm not out there today
Yep.
in a boat.
No, I mean,
It rained all day.
all day.
And so here's the story. So we started off the day. Garrett's like catching 2 at a time on an A rig,
Oh,
and I'm back
just
here
doubling
throwing.
up, going crazy.
And Dad had me throwing a big spoon, and I was like,
He
no,
was
I don't
mad.
want to throw
He
this
was
anymore.
mad. He
I've
was-
not caught a fish, and Garrett's caught 15 already, and
I
I'm
heard
like,
Derek caught like 40 fish that
yeah.
day.
did.
And I was like,
Doubling up,
I hate this.
just- I was going
I was
crazy.
like, I hate this. I'm throwing the A rig, and he's like, no, you're throwing the spoon all day. I don't care. And I was like, fine. And so then about
He
30
was-
minutes later, I get the first spoon bite, and it was like a 3.5 pounder, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, called one of my fish immediately.
I think I caught. I might have had all the keepers at the end
He
of the
did.
day.
He did.
I might have only caught
Which
5
is fine.
fish.
I had the bag.
Yeah.
But y'all
And
learned
I-
right there.
Yeah.
Y'all learned right there.
I
like,
gotta listen to my dad.
Well, no, we're not just that. Well, your dad is trying to teach y'all too. Like in a team tournament situation, there's always going to be different lures and techniques. If he's catching the 2-pounders, you need to try to catch the big.
The
and, you,
big,
and you fish
yeah.
a lot. Now, when you're fishing solo, you fish a
Yeah.
lot better when you have a limit in the boat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So like how I fish, and I tell people this all the time, if I was fishing tournaments heavy, I'm not fishing for a limit. But
No.
some dudes do, and those dudes that do are more consistent.
Yeah.
I'm fishing for 5 giant bites. I'm going to come in with a big bag or no bag.
Yeah.
See, that's Halton.
Yeah.
I will secure us the bag. I catch numbers early morning.
Yeah.
I do my thing.
I can't fish early morning.
He doesn't.
If I catch a fish early morning, we're not winning the
That's
tournament.
That's why here in a little bit we're going to go fish in the afternoon. You can't fish
Yeah.
in the morning.
We'll see. But I fish early morning really well. I can get us the bag. This dude comes in and pulls my bag, which is great. I mean, we are the dream team. I'm right-handed. He's left-handed.
No, opposite.
You're lefty.
You're lefty.
Right.
I'm right.
I'm ambidextrous. I fish either
I do,
way.
yeah. He just got dyslexic on you. It's okay. I did it too. All right, I'm that guy. I'll write my numbers backwards on the board, and people go crazy. But you're left, right-handed.
Yeah, and
Left
so
to right.
up on the deck, he'll stand on this side of Dad, and I'll stand on this side since Dad can still run the trolling motor. And
Next year,
if we see
yeah.
one, I'll throw, or Garrett will throw.
I'll
and
throw
then
first,
If he
actually.
misses, then I'll throw, and
I'll-
I miss, and then he throws, and then we eventually get the cast where it needs to be.
Yeah.
We don't
Y'all
miss
always
that
don't.
much.
Your dad doesn't always run the trolling motor.
Not always.
Yeah.
Like if we're straight live scoping, he normally lets us run it because it's
Yeah.
just we just do it. We've done it enough now.
When y'all are on spots you're familiar
Yeah.
with and stuff. So
Like-
what about Chick? What if Garrett and Chick catches the 8-pounder? Be sweet.
I'll catch it.
I mean, if y'all catch an
8-0.
8-pounder.
I still feel like I deserve that fish on Washita. After he had his 2-hour pissy fit, I was so mad. I was so mad that he caught that fish. I
two guys.
stayed in it. I was fishing so hard.
I hadn't caught a fish over a 6-incher all day, and then
I was fishing
Bang.
so hard trying to catch that fish. And then he was just throwing around, screwing around, wasn't even using live scope, which is probably
Yeah, I
what
was.
He probably, you didn't catch that fish off live scope.
yeah, we saw it, and I was like, oh, there's a biddy, and I threw, and Dad turned the trolling motor away.
Yeah, y'all knew it was in the area.
Yeah.
You
We
didn't
knew it was
watch
in the
it. You
area.
didn't watch it come and eat it.
No,
right? But
no,
y'all
I
knew
was
it- y'all
I was
knew
reeling
it
and
was
it
up
just
there.
stopped. And
I was
like,
fishing so hard trying to catch that fish, and then he pulled it in just...
Yeah, I
was so
went crazy,
mad.
Not gonna lie.
Okay, thanks. All right, thanks real quick. Any shout out thanks? Gary, you go first.
Shout out. I would like to thank Future Marine
There we
for helping us with sponsors and this fundraiser. They've done a lot for us.
They helped a lot with this fundraiser this past week, I guess would be the right way to say it.
Any shout out thanks?
I'd say shout out my dad. He's our boat captain, and check out Farm Bureau if you need some insurance.
Hey, if you need some life insurance, I know a guy. But also,
Yep.
I can tell you why to get life insurance. Not just
There we
life
go.
insurance. There's other insurances too, but I know like that's one. There's accidental insurances, all these things. But like I got taught at an early age why life insurance is important, and so I went ahead and got on it. But we might know a guy that can help you
Yeah,
out.
might just know a guy.
Might know a guy. Awesome. Any other thanks or shout outs? I
Just
mean, I know we got
all
York
our sponsors.
Gary.
We got York Gary,
Rehab.
Rehab Specialist, M&M Custom Creations. They're actually making us some baits for going to
like
nationals.
They're making secret baits.
Secret baits. Can't say what they
yeah,
are.
we can't say what they are.
But they're making us some baits for nationals.
So all of our sponsors,
LJT.
guys. Let's talk about all of our sponsors. So we got so LJT Transportation. Now this one is I'm gonna go through all of our sponsors real quick. You can turn it back around.
Okay,
yeah.
I was letting them see the sponsor.
Mutual Marine is with our boat. We got our boat through Mutual
Yep.
Marine. Both your dads have a boat through Mutual Marine. All my stuff's worked on with Mutual Marine. My boat's not, I bought my boat before, but my next boat will be through Futural, and like all my electronics is through it. So we use them. York Gary, the truck is from York Gary that
Yep.
y'all are driving
The
down
truck
there.
is from York Gary.
Yes. Right here,
Yeah.
one thing, I got to hang out with York Gary for a days, guys, or the dealership. It's a pretty cool family atmosphere for a dealer. And one thing about that family atmosphere, all the salesmen have been there for a very, very long time. That speaks volume for the dealer and for the owner. So one thing I will just give you guys just a thought of, like, I know a lot of people that work in the car business, they don't stay at places long because of the non-family atmosphere and the cutthroat that it is, that they do not care about you. That place, which is right over there, that's why I'm pointing, it's a big family. So you want that when you're buying a car, yes you do. Rehab. Hey, so when y'all's elbows are hurt,
Yep.
and when our knees are hurting from fishing, we go and get our rehab. I mean, everything here is something useful. And then we got our baits.
They are very helpful.
Yeah, they make
are.
baits. It's some good stuff. But appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all for listening. Let us know any questions or anything in the comments. Once again, we appreciate you. Come back to the next episode.